If you feel lost in life, you might think you need to find your purpose, the perfect career, the right relationship, the big passion, the one thing that finally makes everything feel meaningful. But what if purpose doesn't start with finding the right answer? What if it starts with asking a different question? Not, what am I supposed to do with my life? But, what actually matters to me? Because underneath the choices you make, the people you admire, the things that frustrate you, and the moments that make you feel most alive, there is usually a pattern. And that pattern points towards something psychologists refer to as your core values. Core values are the things that matter most to you. They are the qualities, principles, and directions that help guide how you want to live. Things like kindness, creativity, growth, honesty, independence, connection, learning, adventure, discipline, or compassion. One useful way to think about values is that they are like a compass. They don't give you one fixed destination, but they do help you work out which direction to move in. And this is where values are different from goals. A goal is something you can complete, such as get a new job, finish a degree, run a 5K, save a certain amount of money. But a value is something you keep living by no matter what it is you're working towards. So if your value is growth, there is no final point where you have completed growth. You can keep expressing that value through learning, trying new things, developing skills, or challenging yourself. Goals are destinations, values are what drive you there, and this distinction matters because we can sometimes get so focused on external goals that we lose sight of whether the life we are building actually reflects who we want to be. That is often when people start to feel stuck, flat, or disconnected. You might be doing all the things you think you should be doing, but still feel like something is missing. And one possible reason is that your behavior has drifted away from your values. So how do you actually identify your core values? Here are 3 questions to start with. First, when have you felt most alive, fulfilled, or like yourself? Think about moments where life felt meaningful even if they were small. What was happening? Were you connecting with people, being creative, helping someone, learning something, taking on a challenge? Those moments often point towards values you were living in line with. Second, what do you admire in other people? The traits we respect in others often reveal something about what matters to us. If you admire someone because they are kind, disciplined, or authentic, there is a good chance those qualities are meaningful to you too. Third, what really bothers you? Frustration can provide useful information. If injustice makes you angry, fairness might be one of your values. If dishonesty bothers you, integrity may matter to you. If wasted potential frustrates you, ambition may be important. Once you've reflected on these questions, try to choose just 3 to 5 values that feel most important to you right now. Then consider how you can turn those values into practical behaviors. Because values only create meaning when they are lived. Ask yourself, what would it look like to live 5% more in line with this value this week? If your value is connection, that might mean texting a friend, arranging a coffee, or being more present in a conversation. If your value is creativity, it might mean spending 20 minutes drawing, writing, making music, or working on an idea. If your value is growth, it might mean reading 1 chapter of a book, applying for something difficult, or asking for feedback instead of avoiding it. The action doesn't have to be dramatic. In fact, it is usually better if it is small, because the aim is not to reinvent your entire life overnight. The aim is to start creating evidence that you are moving in a direction that matters to you. And this is where meaning starts to build, not from one huge life-changing decision, but from repeated small choices that say, this is the kind of person I want to be, and this is the kind of life I want to move towards. So if you feel lost, don't start by asking, what is my one true purpose in life? Instead, ask, what matters to me? What kind of person do I want to be? And what is one small thing I can do this week that moves me in that direction? Because purpose is not always found in a sudden epiphany. It is built by committing to one value-led action at a time.